Hi, I'm James Kotecki. You're here with me in the C-Space Influencer Studio here at CES 2019, and here with us, Stephanie McMahon, Chief Brand Officer, WWE. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. This is awesome.
So I think maybe everyone here knows WWE or has some idea of it, but I'm always curious, how do you define WWE?
WWE is incredible storytelling, right? It's no different than and it is World Wrestling Entertainment. Whether it's a great movie, book, play, it's protagonist versus antagonist with conflict resolution. Our conflicts just happen to be settled inside a 20 by 20 foot ring with some of the greatest live action you could see in sports or entertainment.
I love that. Well, you're naturally hyping it up because you're also on the show.
Part-time character, yes.
Yes.
But I do play the evil. I play the villain.
Yes, and I want to talk about that.
The antagonist.
I saw your article in Ad Age about that today.
Oh, yes. Oh, great. Okay.
So I want to talk about that, but first, let's just define your title. We're at C-Space, so Chief Brand Officer is kind of the perfect title for this area, but how does that title differ from a CMO or a Chief Communications Officer? How do you carve that out?
Well, every company is different, so every company might define it in a different way. For WWE, the Chief Brand Officer is really about, building our brand and our business all around the world, whether it's B2B, B2C, and multiple lines of business, because our lines of business are more akin to Disney, really, than any other property, so we can really play in so many different spaces, and we do.
And you have an exhibit here at C-Space. What are you promoting here at CES?
Well, at CES, we're talking a lot about opportunity. Of course, the WWE Network, which we launched here actually in 2014. So this is our 5th anniversary of being here at CES. And we were actually the #1 trend when we launched WWE Network. It was behind Netflix and Hulu. It was the first live streaming over-the-top direct-to-consumer network. And at WrestleMania this year, we had 2 million subscribers.
So that's grown significantly over
time. It has.
Yeah.
It is our second most profitable and fastest growing business.
A lot of exclusive content on there as well, I assume, that you can't get anywhere
Yes, absolutely.
else. Yeah.
Well, that's strategic. It was really created to super serve our most ardent fan base. So that's where we have what was our pay-per-view business. And we really did go against ourselves in terms of our business model. And our co-presidents, Michelle Wilson and George Barros, like to talk about the long, dark tunnel, where, ultimately we had to take a little bit of dip before we were, able to capitalize on this really disruptive new technology in our business. But when you consider that Vince McMahon, right, who is the chairman and CEO, also my father, he essentially pioneered the pay-per-view industry with WrestleMania in 1985. Some have absolutely credited him with that. And then you look forward to, the WWE Network and really super serving our fan base in that way. As long as you have your customers and your consumers in mind and you're not afraid to take calculated risks, that's what WWE is all about.
Let's talk about that fan base. How do you...
I feel like I'm tongue-tied.
No, you're doing great.
Okay.
And by the way, I should be the one nervous because I'm interviewing you, right?
I don't know. Am I scary? Do I make you nervous?
No, but I do want to talk about that.
Would you like me to go into character?
I do want.
I could do that too.
Can you really do that?
I totally could.
Okay.
No, but I'm not going to.
Okay. All right. I don't want to put you on the spot. And I'm also I'm a little afraid of what
might. The Hulk.
I'm a little afraid of what might happen there.
You don't want to make me angry.
So let's talk about your fans, your audience.
Yes.
How do you define your audience? Maybe some things about your audience that might surprise people.
We have the greatest, most passionate fan base in the world. I love all of our fans, and we actually call them the WWE Universe because it is inclusive. It is a giant community. When you consider that at WrestleMania, which is like our Super Bowl, we have fans from over 60 countries and all 50 states, all different backgrounds, ethnicities, you name it, coming together to enjoy the one thing that they love most, WWE. It's pretty remarkable. Our fans, let's see, 40% of our audience is women. That usually tends to surprise people, and 60% of our audience brings a child, at least one child, to a live event.
Wow.
Yep.
So the generations are continuing to pass that on.
Yeah, absolutely. May they continue to do so.
And has the nature, the tone, I mean, do you see that as a consistent thread throughout since the 80s as this thing has kind of grown and expanded? Or do you see it kind of focusing on different or expanded audiences over time?
Well, it really is multi-generational. And when you look at, how we appeal, we are an incredibly diverse audience. So a lot of our younger audience, has gone to digital and social platforms, but we're still incredibly strong across linear as well. And approximately 2/3 of our audience is under the age of 55. But we really are, WWE is the #1 most co-viewed sport, with the exception of the NFL.
Oh, so two people are more sitting in a room together watching.
Yeah, families, families watching together. So it really is multi-generational, and it's shared experiences. It's creating once in a lifetime moments and memories. Our mission is to put smiles on people's faces. And I've had the privilege of performing and seeing these smiles. And ever since I was a little kid, people have come up to my dad and asked for an autograph or to take a picture. And what they always say to him is thank you. Thank you for the years of entertainment for me and my family. And then they proceed to tell a story, because it seems like everybody has a wrestling story in their life. It's touched their life in some form or fashion. And it's such a privilege to be a part of a brand that is so much a part of the fabric of our world.
You have that built-in advantage, having been a part of that fabric for several decades, but now there's more content than ever. There's more streaming services than ever. To stand out, do you have to do things differently or at a more elevated level than you've ever done them before?
So I look at all of these different platforms as opportunity, right? Because I think it's easy to get overwhelmed by the proliferation of content out there. Sure, it was easier when there was only so many channels and so many different things you had to watch. I was actually having an interesting conversation about that last night. But for WWE, it's about super serving our fans. So I think it gives us the ability to be where they are so that they can consume the content how they want to, when they want to, on the device that they want to, and truly to give them an experience that's worthy of their passion. So I think as long as we're listening to them, also the digital and social platforms allow us to listen to them in a different way. We've always listened to them live in the arena. We essentially have a focus group, every single night, because we have over 500 live events every night. But now digital and social, our whole data and analytics team, certainly our subscribers, they all give us these data points to truly be listening to what they want.
Is it more important to you to continually deepen that relationship with your existing fans or expand the fan base?
I think both. It's not one or the other. I think it's very important to deepen the connection. I think that there are times we listen better than others. We always want to deliver for them because they are what the product is all about. Without our fans, we don't have a business. And I think also we always want to be growing our business. We always want to be growing our fan base. We want to be, in as many different areas that make sense for us as storytellers.
So I do want to end on some of the lessons that you learned from playing a villain in the ring, which was an article that I saw you tweet about today.
What was your favorite?
It was be raw, right?
Yeah.
The idea of being real and vulnerable. Yeah.
I think that that's really important, and it's a very underestimated characteristic in a leader. But I think that in order to have a real conversation with someone, you have to be willing to be vulnerable. And I do think that that is an important part of being a performer as well, for the same reason, because it's all about human connection. So in order to really connect with someone, whether it's a massive audience, whether it's this one-on-one conversation, you have to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You have to be real.
And it seems like there's a lesson for executives of all industries here in terms of simple, clear messages communicated repetitively over time. It seems like that's a lesson that everybody could take from what you guys do.
Sure, absolutely. And just to listen.
Yeah.
Really listen and respond to your consumers or your audience.
Well, thank you so much for letting us listen to your insights today. We really appreciate having you here.
This was really wonderful. Thank you.
Stephanie McMahon, WWE. You've been joining us here at the C-Space Influencer Studio here at CES 2019. Stay tuned because more great conversations are just ahead.